Tuesday's lesson. Today we're going to cover pages 427 through 400 and 431. Okay. So if we look at chart 427, chart 20-1, overview of basic verb forms used in conditional sentences. Now here, ladies and gentlemen, these are going to be, for example, this part here, real in the present, real in the future, that's going to be chart 20-2, which will be on page 428. And then unreal in the present future, that's going to be chart 20-3 on page 430. And unreal in the past is going to be on page 432. So this particular chart is easier to use because it explains in detail what the if clause and the result clause verb forms will be, depending on the situation, if it's real or unreal. Okay? So the explanation, conditional sentences express the idea of if this were the condition, then this would be the result. These sentences can talk about real situations, facts, regularly occurring events, etc., and unreal situations, imaginary or impossible ones. Okay? So look at the situations, the if clause, the result clause, and the examples. If the situation is real in the present, the if clause is going to be in the if clause verb is going to be in the simple present, and the result clause, if it's real in the present, simple form of the verb. Okay? And if it's real in the future, the if clause is still going to be in the simple present, but in the result clause, you're going to use will plus the simple form of the verb. Now, if we look at the first one, real in the present, the if clause, simple present. The result clause, simple form of the verb. If I have enough time, I watch TV every evening. This is present because it's every evening. So here, the if clause verb, simple present. The result clause verb, simple form of the verb. Okay? So you say, if I have enough money, I buy dinner at a restaurant every weekday. Okay? Real in the future, the verb is still going to be in the simple present. The result clause will have will plus the simple form of the verb. If I have enough time, I will watch TV later on tonight. See, later on tonight, that's future. So we say will watch. The verb will and then simple form watch. So you say, if I have enough money, I will buy dinner tomorrow and Wednesday night. Now, if the situation is unreal in the present or the future, the if clause verb is going to be in the simple past, and the result clause you're going to use would and the simple form of the verb. If I had enough time, I would watch TV now or later on. See, if I had instead of have. This is in the simple past. Enough time. That's the if clause. And then the result clause, I would, and then the verb in the simple form, watch TV now or later on. Or you could say, if I had enough money, I would eat dinner at a restaurant every night of the week. But it's unreal, because that's not a real situation, okay? Unreal in the past. Now here, the if clause is going to be in the past perfect. Remember, the past perfect is had plus the past participle. And the result clause is going to be would have plus a past participle. So here, if I had had enough time, I would have watched TV yesterday. So here, that means I didn't have enough time. That means I didn't watch TV yesterday. So it's unreal in the past. Okay? Or if I had had enough money, I would have eaten dinner at a restaurant every day or every night last week. The fact is, I didn't have enough money to eat out every day last week. Okay? So you have to look at the if clauses and the result clauses to make sure what form of the verbs you're going to be using in the if clauses and the result clauses. So if we look at exercise number 2, write R next to the sentences that express a real condition and U next to the sentences that express an unreal condition. So if it's real, your if clause verb is going to be in the simple present, and the result clause, the verb is going to be in the simple form or will plus a simple form. If it's unreal, it's either the if clause is going to be in the simple past or past perfect, or in the result clause, would plus a simple form or would have in the past participle. So if we look at number 1, if I have time on weekends, I volunteer at an animal shelter. This is real. Because look, if I have simple present, time on weekends, and then the result clause, simple form of the verb, I volunteer at an animal shelter. So this is real in the present. Look at number 2. If I have time, I will volunteer next weekend. Again, look at the verb in the if clause, simple present. Look at the result clause, will in the simple form, will volunteer. So this is real in the future. Number 3. If I had time, I would volunteer next weekend. So look at the verb in the if clause, had, simple past. And look at the result clause, would volunteer. So here, simple past and would in the simple form. This is unreal in the present future. And then, if I had had time, I would have volunteered last weekend. Had is the past perfect. Would have and volunteered the past participle. So here you say, okay, it's past perfect in the if clause, would have and the past participle in the result clause. This is unreal in the past. So number 1 and 2 are real. 3 and 4, unreal. So let's look at exercise number 3. Complete the sentences with the words in the box. Would do, will do, would have done. Okay? And these are going to be in the result clause. So you have to look at the if clause first to determine, is it real or unreal? In the present, future, or past? So let's look at number 1. Rita believes in hard work and wants her children to work hard. She always tells them, if you work hard every day, so here, if you work hard, okay, simple present, every day. So here, you're going to say, all right, this is real in the future. You will do well. Will do. Number 2. Scott is smart, but he doesn't work very hard. As a result, he is not good at his job. His co-workers often tell him, if you worked hard every day, you blank well. Okay? So here's the if clause. If you worked, okay? And here, worked is in the simple past. So we're going to say this is unreal in the present future. So if you worked hard every day, you would do well. Would do, because you're using would and the simple form of the verb. Number 3. Mark planned to study hard for a test yesterday, but some friends called and he decided to go out with them. He didn't study at all, and he didn't do well on his test the next day. His teacher told him, if you had studied, this is the past perfect, had studied yesterday, you So my result clause would have, in the past participle, you would have done well on the test. So number 1, will do. Number 2, would do. Number 3, would have done. If you turn the page, look at exercise 4. Which sentence expresses a habitual meaning? Which sentences express a future meaning? So here, this is using real conditions in the present or future. And remember, if it's real in the present or future, the if clause verb is going to be in the simple form, simple present, and the result clause will be either in the present, simple form of the verb, or will plus the simple form of the verb. Okay? So, look at number 1. If the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, she'll cry. Because here, look at the result clause. She will cry, will and the simple form of the verb, cry, this is future. Number 2. If the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, she cries. Here, in the result clause, it's the simple form or the simple present form of the verb. So here, if the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, she cries. This is habitual. So this is present. Okay? This is habitual. This is what she does every time. Number 3. Should the baby wake up in the middle of the night, she'll cry. Okay, here again, look at the result clause. Will cry, will in the simple form of the verb. This is going to be future. So number 1 and number 3 are future. Number 2 is habitual. So we look at chart 20-2, expressing real conditions in the present and future. So this chart here, ladies and gentlemen, all of this chart is right here, in this part right here. Real in the present, real in the future, from page 427. The if clause is going to be simple present verb. The result clause, simple form of the verb if it's in the present, and will plus the simple form of the verb if it's in the result clause. Okay? So we look at chart 20-2, example A. If I don't eat breakfast, I always get hungry during class. Okay? This is real. Okay? In the present. B. If I don't eat breakfast tomorrow morning, I will get hungry during class. Notice here, in the result clause, will get. Will in the simple form of the verb. So this is real in the future. Number 3. Water freezes if the temperature reaches 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And water will freeze if the temperature reaches 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? So this, you're expressing an established or predictable general truth. So you use the simple present or the simple future. Okay? Look at the explanation. In conditional sentences that express real or true factual ideas in the present or future, the simple present, not the simple future, is used in the if clause. Okay? So here, if I don't eat breakfast, I always get hungry during class. That's a factual idea. Okay? So you say I always get. Okay? If I don't eat breakfast, this is simple form. It's negative, but it's simple form. Okay? So the result clause has various possible forms. A result clause can be the first one, the simple present to express a habitual activity or situation. This happens every time you don't eat breakfast. You get hungry. Okay? In the result clause, simple present, get. So look at B. If I don't eat breakfast tomorrow morning, I will get hungry during class. The simple future to express a particular activity or situation in the future, as in letter B. Will get. So that's a simple future because you're talking about tomorrow morning. And then for C and D, the simple present or the simple future in the result clause to express an established predictable fact or general truth. Okay? So here, freezes, simple present, or will freeze. Okay? You can also say if the temperature reaches 32 degrees Fahrenheit, water will freeze. If the temperature reaches 32 degrees Fahrenheit, water freezes. Okay? Look at letter E. In letter E, this is, you're using a phrasal modal. If it rains, we should stay home. If it rains, I might decide to stay home. If it rains, we can't go. If it rains, we're going to stay home. The result clause can also include modals and phrasal modals such as should, might, can, and be going to, as in example E. Letter F. If anyone calls, please take a message. If anyone should call, please take a message. An imperative verb can be used in the result clause as in F. Like here, take. Okay? Sometimes should is used in an if clause as in G. It indicates a little more uncertainty than the use of the simple present. But basically the meaning of the examples F and G is the same. Remember, using should is by chance. It's not planned in case someone calls. That's what this means. I'm not expecting someone to call, but in case someone calls. So if we look at exercise 5. In exercise 5, it says decide if each sentence expresses a habitual or future meaning. Look at number 1, 2, and 3, A and B, and circle habitual or future. Okay, so number 1A. If it rains, the streets get wet. This happens all the time, that it rains, the streets get wet, so this is going to be habitual. If it rains, the streets will get wet, so here we have will get, so that's going to be future. Number 2. If it should rain, we'll take the bus. Will is a contraction for we will take, so that's going to be future. B, if it rains, we take the bus. Here you say, okay, we take the bus. That's habitual. This is, if it rains, every time it rains, you take the bus. That's a habit. Number 3, if the meetings run late, I leave early. Okay, so here you say habitual. Every time the meeting runs late, you leave early. B, should the meetings run late, I will leave early. Here we have will leave, so that's going to be future. Okay. Look at exercise 6. Choose the correct verb for the result clauses. In some cases, both answers are correct. Number 1. If there is a bike race, the road is or will be closed. What do you think? One or both? In this particular case, both. Present and future. If there is a bike race, the road is closed. That's habitual. If there is a bike race, the road will be closed. That's future. Number 2. If I find out the answer, I blank you know. So in this one, if I find out the answer, that means I don't have the answer right now. So I will let you know. Future. Number 3. If you run up a hill, your heart beats or will beat fast. In this one, factual information. So it's habitual. Every time you run up a hill, your heart beats faster. And if you run up the hill, your heart will beat faster. Both. If I have extra time, I blank students in math. So here, if I have extra time, I tutor, and I am going to tutor students in math. Okay. Look at number 5. If it should rain tomorrow, we might change our plans, and if it should rain tomorrow, we will change our plans. Both are correct. This is degree of uncertainty, and this is future. Number 6, if my cell phone battery goes dead, I will recharge it. This is will and the simple form of the verb. This is a result clause. Okay, only will recharge. So number 1 is and will be. Number 2, will let. Number 3, both answers. Beats, will beat. Number 4, tutor, I'm going to tutor. Number 5, might change, will change, both. And number 6, will recharge. Okay? Now, look at, we're not going to do exercise 7, but let's look at exercise 8. If plus a pronoun can be difficult to hear at the beginning of sentences because these words are generally unstressed. Additionally, if at the beginning of a sentence is often reduced to f, just the F sound. Listen to the sentences spoken in casual, relaxed English. Complete the sentences with the non-reduced forms of the words you hear. Okay? You will hear. If I hear anything, I'll tell you. Again, if I hear anything, I'll tell you. You will write, if I hear. Okay? And I'll repeat each one 2 times. Number 1. If I'm talking too fast, please tell me. If I'm talking too fast, please tell me. Number 2. If we get married, everyone will be shot. If we get married, everyone will be shot. Number 3. If it's okay, I'll ask for some advice. If it's okay, I'll ask for some advice. Number 4. If he's planning to quit, I hope he lets us know soon. If he's planning to quit, I hope he lets us know soon. Number 5. If it's not working, we'll need to try something else. If it's not working, we'll need to try something else. Number 6. If she works harder, I'm sure she'll succeed. If she works harder, I'm sure she'll succeed. Number 7. If I should get the job, I'll call you right away. If I should get the job, I'll call you right away. So number 1, if I am talking, remember you're going to complete the sentences with the non-reduced forms, no contractions. Number 2, if we get. Number 3, if it is okay. If it is. Number 4, if he is planning to quit. If he is planning to quit. Number 5, if it is not working. If it is not working. Number 6, if she works harder. If she works harder. And number 7, if I should get the job. If I should get the job. Okay. On exercise 9, this is a warm-up or introduction to chart 20-3. Contrary to fact in the present or future. That's the middle column from page 427. And if you remember correctly, if it's contrary to fact, that means it's unreal in the present or future. The if clause is going to be in the simple past, and the result clause verb is going to use would and the simple form of the verb in the result clause. Okay? So, choose the correct completions. If Tom were a teacher, he would teach law. So what do you think? A, Tom is or isn't a teacher? This one, isn't. B, Tom teaches or doesn't teach law? Doesn't teach because he's not a teacher. See, this is saying if Tom were a teacher, he would teach law, but he's not a teacher. Number 2, if he had enough money for tuition, he would be in graduate school. If he had enough money for tuition, he would be in graduate school. So here, A, he has or doesn't have enough money. What do you think? Or he has enough money or he doesn't have enough money. So here, because look at the if clause. Had is in the simple past. And then would be, would in the simple form of the verb. So you say, okay, this is unreal in the present future. So if he in this particular case, doesn't have enough money. He doesn't have enough money. Okay? That's why he's not in graduate school. And B, he is or isn't in graduate school. What do you think? He isn't in graduate school. So if you turn to chart 20-3 on page 430, again, this is unreal, contrary to fact in the present future. Okay? Remember that the if clause words are going to be in the simple past, and the result clause is going to be would and the simple form of the verb. Okay? Look at examples A, B, and C. If I taught this class, I wouldn't give test. In A, actually, I don't teach this class. So this is unreal in the present future. Number 2, or B, if he were here right now, he would help us. Actually, he is not here right now. So this is unreal in the present future. Letter C, if I were you, I would accept their invitation. Actually, I am not you. Now, this point here is very important in conditional sentences. It doesn't follow the traditional rules in grammar as in normal sentences in the simple past, because these are conditional sentences. You're going to use were for both singular and plural subjects, okay, but it has to be unreal in the present future, okay. Note, were is used for both singular and plural subjects. Was with I, he, she, it is sometimes used in very informal speech. If I was you, I'd accept their invitation. But see, this is a conditional sentence, so you would not use was, you would use instead were. Okay? If I were you, I would accept their invitation. In reality, I am not you, so I cannot accept their invitation. Okay? Look at letters D and E. If I had enough money, I would buy a car. Indeed, the speaker wants a car but doesn't have enough money. Would expresses desired or predictable results. This is what the speaker would do, buy a car. This is the desired or predictable result. Would buy a car. That's using would. But look at E. If I had enough money, I could buy a car. You say, well, what's the difference? Well, I'll show you. In E, the speaker is expressing one possible result. Could means would be able to. Could expresses possible options. For example, in E, the only option is buy a car. But in D, I'm sorry, in E, if I had enough money, I could buy a car. If I had enough money, I could go on a vacation for a month. If I had enough money, I could buy a house. If I had enough money, I could buy a motorcycle. See? Possible options. With could, more than one. With would, this is the desired or predictable result. You're saving money to buy a car, that's what you want to do with would. But with could, go on vacation, buy a car, buy a motorcycle, buy a house. Different options. Okay? So, look at exercise 10. In exercise 10, okay, you might say, decide if the sentences expresses a real or unreal idea. Look at the if clause verb, look at the result clause verb. Go back to page 427 to determine that. Okay? I'll give you a couple of minutes for that, please. Okay, so letter A. If I had more money, I would buy a car. My verb in the if clause is in the simple past. In the result clause, would in the simple form. So this is unreal. Letter B. If I have money, I will buy a car. So here, have is in the simple present. Will and the simple form of the verb. So this is real. Number 2, A. If the shirts are on sale, I will get a few. Okay, and here, this is a real condition. Okay, you've got, here's the verb be in the simple form, simple present, and here's a result clause. Will get, will in the simple form of the verb. So this is real. So letter B. If the shirt were on sale, I would get a few. Actually here we should say if the shirts, plural. So put an S. If the shirts were on sale, I would get a few. Look at the verb. Were is in the past, would and the simple form. So this is unreal. Number 3. If you were a teacher, you could help me. Look at the if clause. Were, simple past. Could help, could, and the simple form of the verb. This is unreal. That means you're not a teacher. Letter B. If you are a teacher, you can help me. You look at the verb in the if clause. Are, simple present. And then can and help, simple form. So this is real. All right. Let's go to exercise 11. Choose the correct completions by looking at the pictures. Then make sentences with the given words. The first one is for number 1. The second one, number 2. And the third one, number 3. So here, Grandpa is allergic to flowers. You notice he's got some flowers in his left hand. He's holding a handkerchief and probably sneezing in his right hand. So Grandpa is allergic to flowers. Then we're going to make a sentence using these words. If Grandpa weren't, because this is unreal in the present future, if Grandpa weren't allergic to flowers, comma, he would bring, simple form, Grandma flowers more often. Let's do number 2. Your roommates blank a lot of time shopping. Spend or don't spend. Now if you look at this, look at all the bags they're carrying. So your roommates spend a lot of time shopping. Now using the information, if they spend so much time shopping, they save a lot of money. Okay? So here your sentence would be, if they didn't spend so much time shopping, comma, they would save a lot of money. Again, if they didn't spend so much time shopping, comma, they would save a lot of money. Number 3. Go ahead and do number 3. We'll check in a minute. Okay, now if you look at the expression of the boy here in this picture, the boy likes or doesn't like peas. The correct answer is he doesn't like peas. So the sentence, if the boy liked peas, past tense, he would eat them. If the boy liked, simple past, peas, comma, he would eat them. This is unreal in the past. All right. Let's look at page 431, exercise 12, please. Complete the sentences with the verbs in parentheses. And again, look at the if clause to look at the verb forms or the result clause. Okay? So this is using either real in the present future or unreal in the present future from charts 20-2 or 20-3. Or if you go to page 427, charts the first two parts of the chart, real in the present and unreal in the present future, those would be, that's all you need to do is look at one chart to complete this exercise. If I have enough apples, comma, I will bake an apple pie this afternoon. So here this is real in the present, if I have. B, if I had enough apples, I would bake or I could bake an apple pie. So either because if I had, this is in the past tense, you say, okay, this is unreal in the present future. So you say would bake if you're only thinking of baking an apple pie. Could bake if you're thinking of baking something else like apple empanadas, apple turnovers, apple strudel. See, you have other choices. Look at number 2. A. I will fix your bike if I have the right screwdriver. Because here, the result clause is first. Will, and then the simple form of the verb. So it's okay, this is real in the present. I will fix your bike if I have the right screwdriver. Or you could say, if I have the right screwdriver, comma, I will fix your bike. Same thing. B. I would fix your bike if I blank the right screwdriver. Now here you say would and fix, the result clause. That means it's unreal in the present future. Okay? So would and the simple form of the verb. So if I would fix your bike if I had the right screwdriver. That means I don't have the right screwdriver, I can't fix your bike. Okay? So go ahead and do numbers 3 and 4, A and B. Okay, number 3. I blank to a movie tonight if I don't have any homework to do. Here's the if clause. Look at how. Present. I will go to a movie tonight. This is future, so you say we'll go to a movie tonight if I don't have any homework to do. B. I blank to a movie tonight if I didn't have any homework to do. This is past. Okay? Because of didn't. So you say I would go to a movie tonight if I didn't have any homework to do. Number 4. I turn off my phone when I am in meetings. This is habitual. So I turn off my phones when I am in meetings. Okay? I would turn on my phone if I were not in a meeting right now. I would turn on my phone if I were not in a meeting right now. The fact is, I'm in a meeting, I can't turn on my phone. Now, exercise 13. Share, here you can make sentences, and you're going to use unreal, contrary to fact in the present or future. Okay? So, for example, look at number 1. If you had the choice of any job in the world, what would it be? So you say, if I had the choice of any job in the world, it would be a medical doctor. Or if I had the choice of any job in the world, it would be an accountant. Whatever it is that you fancy. Number 2, if someone famous invited you to dinner, who would you want it to be? So you say, if someone famous invited me to dinner, I would want it to be, then give the name of the person. Queen Elizabeth. Or I would want it to be a famous rock star or a famous actor or actress. Okay? Number 3. If you were in an accident and had to lose one of your 5 senses, which one would it be? If I were in an accident and had to lose one of my 5 senses, I would want it to be my sense of smell or my sense of taste. Because you need your eyes, your sense of sight. You need to hear, your sense of hearing. You need to be able to touch and feel things. So you need that tactile sense. So either sense of smell or the sense of taste. If you saw someone shoplift something at a jewelry store, shoplift means steal something at a jewelry store, what would you do? If I saw someone shoplift something at a jewelry store, I would inform security. Or I would tell the manager. Number 5. If you were given $1 million, what would you do with it? If I were given $1 million, I would share it with viable causes, charities, organizations that need donations, maybe even some people. If you knew you only had 1 week to live, what would you do? If I knew I only had 1 week to live, I would spend the time with my family. Number 7. If someone were following you on the street at night, what would you do? If someone were following me on the street at night, I would run to the nearest open business. I would run to my car. I would scream for help. Number 8. If you found out that you were going to be the parent of septuplets, meaning 7 babies born at one time, what would you do? If I found out that I was going to be the parent of septuplets, I would work 3 jobs. Number 9. If you were lost on a desert island with only 3 items, what 3 items would they be? If I were lost on a desert island with only 3 items, I would want it to be water, shelter, and food. And maybe a grammar book. If you spoke 5 languages fluently, which ones would they be? If I spoke 5 languages fluently, I would want them to be English, Spanish, French, Mandarin, and Russian. Okay, now if we look at exercise 14. Complete the sentences with the verbs in parentheses. These are going to be situations that are real in the present future and unreal in the present future. Oil floats on water. If you pour oil on water, it floats or it will float. You can use both, present and future, because that's a factual information. Okay? Now, I would like for you to do number 2, 3, 4, and also number 5 on page 432. And we're going to discuss those answers for tomorrow's lesson. Okay? Thank you for being here. Okay? Stay safe, stay healthy. Look for that announcement for the interactive lesson. Take care, everyone.